WBOC News This Morning, Delmarva's news leader.
State police shut down a road in Somerset County after a body is found, while troopers ruled the man's death a homicide.
Last year's rocket explosion on Wallops Island, lighting up the night sky, what NASA says may have caused that failed launch in a new report.
Oh, Tannehill wasn't ready for it, and that's going to be a safety.
A rough first half for the Miami Dolphins taking on the Patriots on Thursday Night Football on WBOC. Could the Dolphins do enough to hand New England their first loss?
WBOC News This Morning, Delmarva's news leader.
But you're not beating Hillary. So you're not beating Hillary.
Well, then if I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you?
Donald Trump and Ted Cruz caught in a war of words. How the GOP frontrunner responded to other attacks during last night's crucial debate.
Accused of having sex with a student, which plea former Delaware high school teacher Richard Dickey Howell is expected to give today.
Seas are rising faster than expected. I'm Tyler Butler reporting live along the Choptank this morning. I'll show you what the effects of sea level rise could look like along our shorelines.
Good morning. You're watching WBOC News This Morning. I'm Jimmy Hoppa.
I'm Maxine Bensel.
I'm meteorologist Brian Keene. It's Friday, February 26th, and so cold, Tyler froze his ears off again.
You can tell by the lack of ears, you can feel the wind.
Oh, poor Tyler.
It is chilly out the door this morning, and actually Tyler did text me and said, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not cool out there this morning. It is freezing. Well, technically speaking, not quite. Those coming up here in about 5 minutes.
Great. We'll check back in. Thank you. On the campaign trail, Republican presidential candidates turn their focus back to Super Tuesday states following a heated debate last night in Texas. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz took turns attacking frontrunner Donald Trump on immigration, taxes, and health care.
Many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No, I'm not repeating. No. You repeat yourself every day. Talking about repeating, I watched him repeat himself 5 times 4 weeks ago. And
I saw you repeat yourself 5 times 5 seconds ago.
Close to 600 delegates are up for grabs in next week's contest. Nearly half the total needed to clinch the nomination. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are making last-minute pitches to minority voters ahead of tomorrow's primary in South Carolina.
Police in Kansas are trying to figure out what led to a deadly shooting spree near Wichita yesterday. Police say 38-year-old Cedric Ford opened fire on several people at 3 separate locations in Heston, including a lawn care products factory where he worked. At least 4 people died, including the shooter, who was killed in a confrontation with Kansas police.
Closer to home, a former Kent County, Delaware high school teacher and wrestling coach is expected to enter a guilty plea today on a child sex abuse charge. Richard Dickey Howell, seen here, is scheduled to enter today's plea in a Kent County court. Howe was arrested last year after a female student at Cesar Rodney High School said she had sex with him over several months in 2014 at his home and at the school. He was later indicted in Kent County on 50 counts of sexual abuse of a child by a person in a position of trust, among other offenses.
The Wicomico County School District is adding 2 extra days of classes to the school year. Wicomico schools were closed 2 days because of weather-related issues. Because of that, the school district recently voted to make up the 2 instructional days and adjust some other dates. For a link to the fully updated Wicomico School District calendar, you can get it now on WBOC.com under the Maryland News category.
A new report says that sea level rise in the past century was faster than any other time in the past 28 centuries.
The threat of rising seas is only expected to increase in the next century. WBOC's Midshore Bureau Chief Tyler Butler is with us this morning along the Choptank. Good morning, Tyler. So the report says that the shoreline where you're standing right now is going to be much smaller by the year 2100.
Jimmy, our viewers who tuned in yesterday probably saw me talking about how we had flooding happening along our shoreline. Reporting live on the Midshore, Tyler Butler, WBOC News, Cambridge.
Thank you, Tyler. Well, new this morning, the Maryland State Highway Administration wants you to know about some upcoming closures coming to Queen Anne's County. Highway officials say Route 304, just west of Route 301, will be closed until early next year as crews work to install the first of 2 roundabouts on Route 304. The interchange project will also shut down the Route 304 park and ride lot at Tidewater Drive, as well as Tidewater Drive at Route 304. Detours will be in place for drivers when the road work begins Tuesday in Queen Anne's County.
The Maryland State Comptroller suspends processing tax returns from 22 private tax preparers, including one in Worcester County. Charles Multi-Services on Carson Court in Pocomoke is on the list of places that were flagged because of a high volume of, quote, questionable returns. If you suspect fraud on your own returns, you should report it to the Maryland Comptroller's office.
The Maryland House passes a bill prohibiting the transfer or renewal of license plates depicting the Confederate battle flag. Maryland does not offer plates with the Confederate battle flag, but prior to November, the MVA offered a Sons of Confederate Veterans plate, which seen here included the flag. In October, a judge lifted an injunction preventing the state from removing the plates from circulation. The bill now goes to the Senate in Maryland.
You may soon have to pay a fee at the grocery store in Delaware for using plastic bags. A bill currently under consideration in the state legislature would charge people 5 cents a bag at the store. The fee would only apply to larger stores with multiple locations. The money would go towards a recycling program. The bill's sponsor says its purpose is to clean up our communities and watersheds in Delaware.
In your Delaware State News this morning, read about Delaware State Police have begun a pilot program for body cameras.
And Don Blakey hopes to take people through a cultural journey with his original theatrical and musical production, The African Diaspora, coming to the Sankofa Cultural Arts Center March 4th and 5th.
Apple is asking a federal magistrate to vacate the order to help the FBI hack into a locked iPhone. The company says in a court filing that the FBI is seeking dangerous power through the courts. This is Apple's first official response since the judge ordered Apple to provide specialized software as part of an investigation into the San Bernardino shootings. The company says it could have disastrous consequences for digital privacy. 6:37 on WBOC News.
6:54 on WBOC News this morning. A look at today's top stories. 4 people behind bars after the Queen Anne's County Drug Task Force discovers a meth lab and other drug materials. The illegal drugs were discovered last week at a home on 1st Street in Queen Anne. 40-year-old Thomas Palanchar arrested after police say he broke into and stole from a restaurant, a Jewish center in Ocean City. They say they also found more than 35 marijuana plants in his Ocean City home. Chip Kelly fired as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles after 3 years on the job. Philadelphia failed to reach the playoffs 2 of his 3 years as head coach. Police investigating after 58-year-old Keith Black was found lying dead in the parking lot of Faith Baptist Church in Smyrna Sunday. First responders reported no trauma to the body, so police in Kent County do not suspect foul play or suspicious circumstances. Tension still high in Ohio after a grand jury failed to indict 2 officers in the deadly shooting of 12-year-old Tamir Rice. Protesters marched in downtown Cleveland yesterday for several hours, calling for justice. A case surrounding a deadly officer-involved shooting earlier this year on Dennis Street in Salisbury closed. Wycomico County State's Attorney Matt Maciarello cleared Sheriff's Deputy Benjamin Jones in his use of force against Fennell Renville back in March. Millions of people along the rising Mississippi River bracing for historic and dangerous floods following days of downpours. The rare winter deluge hit Missouri hard, submerging portions of the state underwater. Delaware's Office of Animal Welfare's Animal Services Enforcement Unit taking over the animal control services in all 3 Delaware counties Friday. The Chester County SPCA based in Pennsylvania will handle sheltering with facilities in Delaware. Family-friendly New Year's Eve event in downtown Dover canceled by City Council. The Dover Council says the event planned by the city's Youth Advisory Council was canceled due to safety concerns and paperwork problems. Those are today's top stories, today's biggest topics as you head out the door. Look at today's forecast just ahead. It's 6:55 on WBOC News this morning.
The State Department releases the largest batch of emails yet from Hillary Clinton's private email server. It happened on the same day the Democratic frontrunner received a major endorsement from 13 senators, all women. Meanwhile, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump called his meeting yesterday with an African-American pastors in New York City inspiring and unbelievable. The GOP frontrunner says he expects many endorsements to come.
In Baltimore, the first panel of prospective jurors for the trial of the first of 6 officers charged in the death of Freddie Gray is expected back tomorrow after being sent home yesterday. A new panel of about 75 potential jurors will be called into court this morning. Baltimore police officer William Porter here faces manslaughter, assault, misconduct in office, and reckless endangerment charges stemming from Gray's death.
And a large group of protesters in Baltimore marched from the courthouse to the city's Inner Harbor last night after jury selection began for the Freddie Gray trial. Some of the people in Baltimore seeking justice for Gray carried signs that read, "Stop the War on Black America."
In Kent County, Delaware, the trial for a Dover police officer caught on video kicking a man in the head in 2013 is scheduled to start this morning again. We need to warn you, this video is a little hard to watch. Dashcam video showing Corporal Thomas Webster kicking a man in the head, later identified as Lateef Dickerson, while Dickerson was on the ground. Webster's charged with second-degree assault. The jury for Webster's trial in Kent County was selected yesterday.
New this morning, a Salisbury man faces charges after the sheriff's office says that he fought with a trooper while being taken into custody. Deputies say 35-year-old Earl Donaldson Jr., seen here, ran a stop sign last Wednesday night at the intersection of West Road and Seminole Boulevard. While a deputy was trying to put Donaldson in a patrol car after arresting him for DUI, the sheriff's office says he refused to sit in the car, kicked the deputy, and spit on a trooper trying to help out. Donaldson was eventually restrained and detained on a $30,000 bond in Wicomico County.
Also new this morning, Maryland State Police are investigating after several grave markers are vandalized in Queen Anne's County. According to troopers, a victim says this marker at Crumpton Cemetery was knocked over at her baby's grave, and decorations were stolen after she just set them up on Sunday. State police say several other graves were also vandalized in the cemetery. If you have any information on the vandalized graves in Queen Anne's County, please contact police.
A Delaware ice company is penalized for violations months after an employee was severely injured at its Seaford facility. Chopper 16 flew over Seaford Ice Incorporated back on May 28th after a worker fell into a conveyor opening, causing him to need both legs amputated. The U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration says the company faces penalties of up to $77,000. An investigation determined that the conveyor openings were too large at the plant in Seaford. Giving Tuesday is here. Today, people all over Delmarva are celebrating it.
In Salisbury, a nonprofit has invited the community to do something special to a home that students are building for a local family. WBOC's Makia Turner joins us live this morning from Salisbury. Good morning, Makia. So people are going to be asked to bless this house.
Hey, good morning, Jimmy and Lacey. A couple weeks ago, I showed you all the home.
Also in Wicomico County, a new private high school is on the way. In a few years, this empty building on Philip Morris Drive at the Fillmore Commons will be the Peninsula School. Members of the school board say they are hoping to target graduates of the Wicomico Day School, which stops at 8th grade. They say the new school will be based upon the standard Maryland curriculum, but other subjects will happen as well.
There'll be special emphasis on foreign languages, special emphasis on music and art and the humanities. We will have an extra curriculum and a minor sports program here. We have an excellent playing field right outside the building.
Board members are hoping for a fall 2017 opening for the school. Their goal is to have tuition cost $10,000 or less in Wicomico County. In your Delaware State News this morning, read about a woman killed in a Sunday car crash in Bear was identified as a Delaware State University student. And the Delaware Senate came together for a special session yesterday to confirm a cabinet secretary and judge, unanimously approving both. 6:37 on WBOC News this morning. Cool and rainy to start our first day of December.
And to think it's also the first day of Nerd Winter. To clarify, it's the first day of meteorological.
Sun's back, and it'll actually stick around for the weekend.
I saw a lot of people with Christmas trees strapped to the top roof of their car over the weekend. That really made me happy.
Yeah, you remember yesterday I told you that our outside Christmas lights may have inadvertently been thrown away.
Yeah.
I had a viewer reach out to me and say that she would give me hers. So Darlene, thank you, but I got it covered. Isn't that sweet?
That is so nice.
Wonderful.
Oh, people are great. Well, it may be on your son or daughter's Christmas list this year, and this morning's top talkers, why you may want to do a little more research before you purchase a hoverboard.
Plus, puppy parking, where you can now park your pooch while you stop for coffee or browse at a bookstore. 6:40 on WBOC News this morning. WBOC has team coverage of this winter storm with reporters stationed all over the peninsula. WBOC Midshore Bureau Chief Tyler Butler is live in Dorchester County with information on Maryland's roads. WBOC Sussex County Bureau Chief Evan Kozloff reports on what DelDOT's doing to combat the snow. But first, WBOC's Makia Turner is live in Wicomico County. And Makia, people are waking up to a lot of snow in Salisbury.
A whole lot of it, Jimmy and Lacey. Good morning to you. Well, we continue to follow some breaking news this morning out of Mali. Staff at the Radisson Blu Hotel in the country's capital, Bamako, says gunmen attacked the hotel and now have more than 100 hostages. According to a military spokesperson in Mali, at least 3 people, 2 Mali nationals and 1 French national, have died in the attack. The U.S. Embassy in Mali is asking people to take shelter amid reports of an ongoing active shooter operation. A Mali Army commander says 10 gunmen armed with grenades stormed the hotel, firing on the guards and taking hostages. The commander says about 20 of the original 170 hostages held captive were recently freed. We will keep you updated with the latest developments on this hostage situation in Mali.
WBOC's Makia Turner joins us live from Chopper 16 over Chincoteague. Good morning, Makia. Lots of preparation into this morning's event.
Hey, Jimmy, it's really an exciting day out here in Accomack County for anyone who lives here or those who are visiting for the 90th annual Pony Swim, something organizers have been putting together for months now. Taking a live look from Chopper 16, this Pony Swim could happen any moment.